You poured it into the pan without a second thought this morning. You poured it yesterday. You pour it almost every day. The large plastic bottle lives beside your stove, the label printed in colors that suggest sunflowers or cornfields or healthy living. And the price made you feel like you were doing something right for the family budget. But tonight, a pointed medical and nutritional investigation into the cooking oils dominating American kitchens reveals 7 specific brands and categories that physicians have increasingly raised concerns about over the last several years. The conversation is not abstract. It is about the oils that pass through your frying pan hundreds of times per year, the oils that coat your vegetables, the oils your children consume in every restaurant meal and every packaged snack. The oils that, according to an expanding body of clinical observation and peer-reviewed research, may quietly contribute to the chronic inflammatory load that studies suggest may underpin cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction, and other conditions shaping the health of a generation. The bottle by your stove is not neutral. It is a daily input into your body's chemistry, and 7 specific cooking oil brands widely sold in American grocery stores warrant immediate reconsideration based on the evidence that follows. The authority framework for this investigation rests on multiple converging research streams. The American Heart Association has for decades promoted unsaturated fats over saturated fats based on earlier research frameworks. But more recent analyses have complicated the simple saturated versus unsaturated narrative. A 2020 study published in the BMJ examined the relationship between polyunsaturated fat intake and cardiovascular mortality, raising questions about earlier assumptions. The WHO, in its updated fat intake guidance, continues to recommend limiting total saturated fat, while also emphasizing the importance of replacing with unsaturated fats from whole food sources rather than from industrially processed oils. Research on the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, including work published in Biomedicine and Pharmacotherapy, suggests that the modern Western diet's ratio of approximately 15 to 1 or 20 to 1 deviates substantially from the ancestral dietary pattern of roughly 1 to 1, and this imbalance has been hypothesized to contribute to inflammatory signaling. The FDA regulates cooking oil labeling and permits processing methods including hexane solvent extraction, high heat refining, bleaching, and deodorization, collectively termed RBD processing, for many commercial oils. A 2023 review in the journal Nutrients examined the oxidative stability of various cooking oils under typical cooking conditions, and noted that polyunsaturated oils may be more prone to oxidation during high heat cooking, generating compounds including aldehydes that research suggests may have their own health implications at chronic exposure levels. This evolving body of evidence is the context within which physicians have begun voicing more specific concerns about certain cooking oils. The first cooking oil category that physicians are increasingly flagging is the large plastic bottle of soybean oil sold at massive scale across American grocery stores and used heavily in food service. Soybean oil is the dominant oil in the American food supply, appearing in countless packaged foods, restaurant fryers, and home kitchens. Its high omega-6 content and typical industrial processing involving hexane extraction and high-temperature refining produce an oil that research suggests may contribute disproportionately to the omega-6 load of the average American diet. While soybean oil has historically been marketed as heart-healthy based on its unsaturated fat content, more recent research has complicated that assessment, and cardiologists with integrative or functional medicine orientations have begun questioning whether soybean oil's dominance in the food supply serves cardiovascular health as well as once assumed. The second oil category, warranting scrutiny, is corn oil, another dominant industrial seed oil with similar processing and similar omega-6 profile. Corn oil is heavily subsidized through corn agriculture in the United States, keeping its price artificially low and its use widespread. The processing and refining steps are essentially identical to soybean oil, and the health profile raises similar concerns among physicians examining the cumulative load of industrial seed oils in modern diets. The third oil to reconsider is the refined canola oil, sold in plastic jugs as a neutral cooking oil for general kitchen use. Canola oil, derived from a cultivated variant of rapeseed, is marketed with an appealing profile of monounsaturated fats and a low saturated fat content. The challenge lies in the processing. Commercial canola oil typically undergoes hexane extraction, high heat refining, bleaching, and deodorization, which may generate trans fats as a byproduct and may oxidize the delicate polyunsaturated components. Cold-pressed canola oil exists and represents a different product than the refined version, but the version most consumers purchase is the RBD processed variety. Research suggests that the oxidative damage occurring during processing and subsequent cooking may contribute to the formation of compounds with potential health implications over long-term exposure. The fourth oil to reconsider is the refined sunflower oil, sold in clear plastic bottles with imagery of sunflower fields. Sunflower oil can be produced in high oleic or high linoleic varieties, with very different fatty acid profiles. Much of the commercial sunflower oil in American kitchens is the high linoleic variety, which compounds the omega-6 load discussed earlier. High oleic sunflower oil represents a different product with a more monounsaturated profile, but consumers rarely distinguish between the varieties, and the label is not always explicit. The fifth oil to reconsider is the cottonseed oil used extensively in restaurant fryers and packaged snack foods. Cottonseed oil is a byproduct of cotton agriculture, and cotton is one of the most heavily sprayed agricultural crops in the world. The oil itself goes through standard refining, but the origin as a byproduct of a pesticide-intensive crop raises questions about residues and about the broader environmental footprint of the product. The sixth oil to reconsider is the refined palm oil that appears in countless packaged foods and in some cooking applications. Palm oil is controversial on multiple fronts. Its high saturated fat content places it differently on the cardiovascular research spectrum than the seed oils discussed above, but its production has been associated with significant environmental concerns, including deforestation and habitat loss in Southeast Asia. The health research on palm oil is mixed, with some studies suggesting cardiovascular concerns and others showing neutral or favorable effects in specific contexts. The environmental concerns alone give many families pause, and the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil Certification attempts to address these concerns but has been critiqued for variable enforcement. The seventh oil to reconsider is the blended vegetable oil sold under generic labels, which typically combines soybean oil, corn oil, and other commodity oils. In proportions, the manufacturer adjusts based on market pricing. These blended oils deliver the same nutritional concerns as their component oils, often without the specificity that would allow informed evaluation. A label that reads vegetable oil without specification is a signal that the manufacturer prioritizes cost flexibility over ingredient transparency. Now turn the conversation toward what your family can use instead, because criticism without alternatives is not useful. Extra virgin olive oil, produced through mechanical pressing of olives without solvents or high heat, delivers monounsaturated fats, polyphenols, and a flavor profile that research suggests may contribute to the cardiovascular benefits associated with Mediterranean dietary patterns. Extra virgin olive oil is suitable for lower to medium heat cooking and is excellent as a finishing oil on salads, vegetables, and cooked dishes. Its smoke point, often cited as a limitation, is actually adequate for most home cooking applications, and its oxidative stability is enhanced by its natural antioxidant content. Avocado oil, particularly the unrefined or minimally refined variety, offers a higher smoke point and a monounsaturated profile similar to olive oil, making it suitable for higher temperature applications. Pay attention to avocado oil quality, as some commercial avocado oils have been flagged in consumer testing for adulteration with other oils. Look for brands that publish third-party testing or that cite specific sourcing. Coconut oil delivers a saturated fat profile that is stable under high heat and has been used in cooking traditions across equatorial regions for centuries. The research on coconut oil and cardiovascular health is mixed, and consumption in moderation as one of multiple dietary fats seems reasonable for most people based on current evidence. Butter and ghee, derived from dairy, provide fat-soluble vitamins and a flavor profile that elevates traditional cooking. Grass-fed sources may offer additional nutritional benefits. Tallow and lard, rendered animal fats used in traditional cooking for generations, offer stability at high heat and a flavor profile suited to certain preparations. The processing question deserves deeper explanation because it is central to the distinction between beneficial traditional fats and industrially produced oils. Traditional fats like extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed nut oils, and rendered animal fats are produced through mechanical or thermal processes that are relatively gentle and that preserve the native structure of the fats and associated nutrients. Industrial seed oils, by contrast, are typically produced through hexane solvent extraction, followed by degumming, neutralization with caustic soda, bleaching with bleaching clays, and deodorization at extremely high temperatures. The finished product is nearly flavorless, nearly colorless, and shelf-stable, but the processing may generate oxidation products, trans fats as byproducts, and other compounds that research is continuing to characterize. The WHO has long recognized concerns about trans fats and has pushed for global elimination of industrially produced trans fats. But the broader question of processing byproducts in industrial seed oils remains an active area of research. Studies suggest that repeatedly heating oils, as occurs in restaurant fryers, may further degrade the oils and generate additional compounds, including acrylamides and advanced glycation end products, which research indicates may contribute to inflammatory processes when consumed in substantial quantities over time. The restaurant and packaged food dimension of this investigation cannot be ignored. Even if you switch your home cooking to high-quality traditional fats, your family likely consumes substantial industrial seed oils through restaurant meals, packaged snacks, salad dressings, mayonnaise, crackers, chips, frozen foods, and virtually any food category that includes fat from a commercial source. The cumulative exposure from these sources often dwarfs the amount of oil used directly in home cooking. This is why the cooking oil conversation connects to a broader conversation about the food environment your family navigates daily. Reducing packaged food consumption, cooking more meals at home with quality ingredients, and asking questions at restaurants about cooking fats are complementary strategies that compound the benefit of home oil choices. Some restaurants have made the switch to better oils as a point of differentiation, and consumer demand has influenced menu development in this direction. The market responds to the questions consumers ask, and asking what oil the kitchen uses is a small intervention that contributes to broader change when repeated across thousands of diners. Here is what your family can do starting this week. First, audit the oils currently in your kitchen. Read the labels on every bottle. Note the processing language, whether the product is extra virgin, expeller pressed, cold pressed, or simply refined. Identify which oils warrant replacement and which are worth keeping. Second, invest in a small number of high-quality oils that cover your cooking needs. A bottle of good extra virgin olive oil, a bottle of avocado oil for higher heat, perhaps butter or ghee for cooking and baking, and coconut oil for specific applications covers most household cooking requirements. Quality matters more than quantity, and a smaller lineup of excellent oils outperforms a larger lineup of mediocre ones. Third, read packaged food labels for oil content. When you see soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, or vegetable oil in the ingredient list of packaged foods you buy regularly, consider whether that product has a cleaner alternative you could switch to. Many packaged foods have reformulated in recent years in response to consumer demand, and better options exist in most categories. Fourth, cook more meals at home. This single lifestyle change does more to improve dietary fat quality than any individual product switch, because home cooking gives you control over the entire fat input to your meals. Fifth, when dining out, ask about cooking oils when possible. Restaurants that cook with olive oil, butter, or better quality oils are often proud of the choice and happy to discuss it. Restaurants that do not have a clear answer are typically using standard commodity oils. Sixth, teach your children about fats in food. Early education about the difference between traditional fats and industrial oils helps them navigate their own food choices as they gain independence. Seventh, be patient with the taste adjustment. Switching from neutral industrial oils to oils with genuine character like olive oil, butter, or coconut oil introduces flavor into your cooking that you may have grown accustomed to living without. Your palate will recalibrate within a few weeks, and the food will begin to taste better and more satisfying. You came to this investigation because a headline about cooking oils caught your attention, or because a recent medical conversation left you curious. You leave with a practical framework for evaluating the fats entering your family's meals and the tools to make meaningful changes without dramatic disruption. The 7 oils warranting reconsideration are not exotic products. They are the dominant oils in American grocery stores, and they occupy substantial shelf space in the kitchens of millions of households. Physicians raising concerns about these oils are not outside the mainstream of medical practice. They are engaging with an evolving body of research that deserves public attention. Your family's metabolic future is shaped in part by the oils that pass through your pans hundreds of times per year, and small changes in those oils compound over months and decades into meaningful differences. Share this with the home cooks, the parents, the grandparents who have used the same oil for years without questioning whether better options exist. The bottle by your stove is a choice, and tonight you have the information to choose differently. The most loving thing a cook can do for the people at their table is to care about what goes into the pan before the food goes in. That care, repeated meal after meal across years, becomes the quiet foundation of a family's health. No bottle can replace it, but the right bottle can honor it. Pour wisely.